Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you guys have returned, and if you're new here, you can call me Danny. And I just wanted to talk about my first week, and let me tell you guys, it was a doozy. The first night that before I had to go in for training and everything, we were supposed to train for 24 hours. I trained 24 hours previously online, and then 24 hours that I actually had to go into the site itself. So when I did this and everything, so like the night before, I got everything ready, had my clothes laid out, socks, shoes, all this kind of stuff, my badges, everything that I would need, my CPR certificate, just everything that you would need for the job, so I could have myself prepared. Because as most of you know that, have been around for a while, I did security previously for about 13 years, but the difference is that was 10 years ago. So much has changed. So I'm sitting there like, okay, a lot of things have changed, but I did this for 13 years. So, okay, it's going to be good. But I was still nervous. And that night, it was like a lot of chaos in the house, verbal chaos and everything. So really, I didn't get a good night's sleep or anything like that. But I was like, when I got back up, I was still excited. Really, I just had a lot of emotions, honestly. So, but the prominent emotion there was like pretty much fear. Okay, so I'm like getting in. I guess I was getting off on the wrong foot and everything. So to calm my nerves, I had to put on like the book of Proverbs. So when I put on the book of Proverbs and stuff like that, I went in, get the shower going and stuff like that. And I did take a cold shower because I've been hearing about this for the longest. So I know that it calms anxiety as well. So I took a cold shower and stuff like that. And I can see why they say it helps anxiety. It's because it's like almost flight or fight. Is that how you say that? But it was like, okay, you get in there. But once you get used to it, it's cool. I did about 3 minutes like they said. And so I got in and everything. And when I come back out, it's like my uniform all of a sudden seemed like it was wrinkled. And I was like, okay. So I'm looking for an iron that I have not used in probably 2 years. But I was like, I just wanted to take the you know what I'm saying, the wrinkles out. I don't know, the perfectionist came out in me and everything like that. So I was like, I did that and everything. And when I left for work and stuff like that, I was like, I wanted to be early. I'm always early on a job. I just know how it is. You know what I'm saying, when you're dependent on somebody. So I got there about 30 minutes early, and I sat in the lobby maybe for 20 minutes, and then I went on up. So when I got there, I was like I said, still a ball of nerves and stuff. But when I got there and stuff, everything was so busy because I was training in the daytime. Even though my shift will be second and third shift, I was training in the day. So it's just like a lot of hustle and bustle going on. When I got in with the trainer and everything, and let me take it back, it wasn't a trainer. First, it was my boss. He gave me a lot of paperwork to fill out and stuff like that. And then one of my co-workers, they trained me some on the different rounds that I had to do and everything like that. And then it was like the computer training. And because I work at this facility that's really like, as far as security prone, cyber security prone, it was a lot of stuff to learn and everything like that. And I wasn't catching on fast enough. And I felt it in my spirit that I wasn't catching on fast enough. And I can kind of tell, like, when you can tell when people kind of get irritated with you and everything like that. So I was sitting there then, I'm kind of zoning out, like I just want this day to be over, because I felt, like I'm not doing well, So I was like, I sat there on the first day, I set off an alarm. When they put me at the front desk, somebody was in the security freight elevator and everything like that, and they were ringing the doorbell, so they're stuck in that area, but I didn't really know what was going on or anything like that. So I'm sitting there, I got somebody stuck in the freight elevator, I got alarms going off, and I'm just not catching on fast enough. So I was like I said, next thing you know, my thoughts just like, oh, I'm just so ready to get out of here today. I'm just so ready to get out of here. Second day, it was a repetition of the first day. It really was. The second day though, the next person, one of my co-workers who was training me, they were like, you need to take notes. And again, that just made me feel completely defeated. It was like, am I too old for this job? Because you guys know that I'll be I'll be 54 at the end of this month, you guys. I'm sitting there like, am I too old for this job? And because I'm just not catching on fast enough. But when she told me to take note, I'm sitting there like, yeah, what is wrong with you, Danny? I always take notes, you guys. But what I figured out when I sat there and when she told me to take notes and everything, I was like, why aren't you taking notes? I had done got so daggone cocky that because I did security for 13 years, I really thought I had it in the bag like that. But so much had changed and everything. And so I was sitting there like, you're not taking notes? I had done inch myself over to self-sabotage street, and I was riding down the lane. I was like, how could you do this to yourself? You know that God gave you this job and everything like that. And then you're sitting there, you're self-sabotaging yourself. So I was like, I had myself a little pep talk and everything. And I'm like, tomorrow I'm going to come in better. So I'm going to come in prepared. And the thing is, what's so crazy about it, you guys, I had notebooks and everything in my purse. I had notebooks, I had pens, I had all this stuff, but I wasn't taking notes. So that's why I know that I was self-sabotaging. And so I was like, the next day, I got me an even better notebook, a prettier notebook, just to remind myself, you know, hot pink. Let me get it so I can remind myself your notebook is right here. So as soon as I went in, I had it. I pulled it out. I pulled my pen out and everything that they told me, all my login credentials, everything that I needed to do. I was just writing it down step by step by step. As I was writing it down, I started retaining the information better. And honestly, this is how I learned. I've always been that way. I never was diagnosed with a learning disability or anything like that, but I know that taking notes helps me to retain information. When I started retaining the information better, I started feeling better. And every time if I messed up or whatever, I would sit there and quote the scripture, God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind and body. So I just start like, okay, I'm going to sit here and minister to myself, and I'm going to get this right. And so I also asked my boss them, could you repeat that? You know what I'm saying? Because again, repetition helps me and taking notes help me. Asking them to repeat it and everything, they kind of understood that I wasn't understanding and everything. And so it was like, okay, they started to break it down. And then the biggest, not compliment, but the biggest assurance that my boss gave me, he was like, it's going to take time. You're going to learn as you grow. We're just trying to teach you the fundamentals. And I was like, that relaxed me some as well. And what I also was learning is that, you know, people teach differently. Everybody, they weren't trainers. You know what I'm saying? It was my boss there. It was two co-workers, because I noticed that every time I was with someone else, I learned something different, and everybody has their own way of doing things. So what I did is observe. That's part of my job in the first place. I'm a security officer. I'm supposed to observe, you know. So I'm sitting there like, I just observe what they do, because, you know, with the incident with the person with the freight elevator, them stuck in that area, if I would have been observing what they were doing, I would have known that, hey, I need to get this person out of the service elevator. That's what the doorbell is. You know what I'm saying? So I sat there and I just kind of reevaluated of how I needed to learn at that job and everything like that. And then two, I didn't go in with the defeatist attitude that I did before, because honestly, those first 2 days, maybe even almost 3 days, that I went in and I was like, I felt defeated and I just got kind of knocked off. But what I did learn, you know, about things like this is that this is life. This is how things come, period. And that I got to learn to adjust to things. I can't sit there, because I was working for myself when I was doing gig work and stuff like that, thinking that, you know, well, I can adapt to this job the way I did to my gig work. It's not going to work that way. I have to retrain myself of how to learn a new skill. And that's honestly what I did. And like I said, I had to sit there and reassure myself and put the scriptures back in my spirit again. And like, I can do this. Like right now, I'm headed out. I'm finna get ready to do a third shift, and I'm really excited about that. Probably because it's calmer, but yet and still I can learn a lot and everything. But I really just wanted to tell you guys about my first week and everything like that. And I really, I really appreciate you guys. On my last video, so many people congratulated me on my job. They said that it was good to hear good news for a change, because there's so many people that are saying they lost their job and they're laid off. So they were happy to hear that somebody was actually getting a job. So I appreciate you guys on that last video, you guys liking it. You were saying that you loved the way I came across and everything. And that's because I was still excited, and I still am. You know what I'm saying? I made some mistakes and everything, but I did learn from them. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys. And I'm gonna see y'all on the next video. And like, comment again, and subscribe if you haven't. Thank y'all. See you later. Bye-bye.